iron influence on American teams, the wizardry of Japan. Well, today, it's the virtually unknown style of the Italians. To background this nation and host country New Zealand, my pleasure to introduce you to two commentators who you'll be hearing a lot of, Keith Quinn and Graham Thornton.
So the All Black team of 1987 for this opening World Cup match, an historic moment, being led onto the field by their captain David Kirk. And coming up behind them, the visitors for their first ever international in New Zealand, being led out by Marzio Innocenti, the Italian team. And certainly they look pretty nervous and uptight about this great rugby experience that lies ahead of them. At the moment, it's a pretty afternoon in Auckland, but we've had so many showers today, some of them torrential, that anything could happen weather-wise in the next 80 minutes. There are the All Blacks waiting to be introduced, and there is the young man who was the captain of the New Zealand team a year ago, but who had the captaincy taken off him and now gets it back again, just 9 months after losing it here on this ground. And he's now meeting officials, looking pretty happy, as he's now going to introduce his team members. Sean Fitzpatrick, Warwick Taylor, and Craig Green, a very heavy Auckland influence in this New Zealand team today. The man with the headband there is Wayne Shelford from North Harbour, Joe Stanley, Grant Fox, being introduced to Sir David Beattie, the patron of the New Zealand Rugby Football Union. A quick glimpse there of Michael Jones, the only new player in the team today. There's Steve McDowell. Murray Pearce, the very tall Wellington policeman. There's Sir David Beattie himself, a very fine rugby player in his young day. Gary Wetton with his twin brother. And John Gallagher, the Wellington fullback, playing his first game. John Kerwin on the end of the line for the New Zealand team. Sir David Beattie accompanied by Mr. Richie Guy, the manager of the New Zealand team. Today's match official, that's Jim Fleming. The touch judge from Scotland, Bob Fordham, the referee from Australia, and Kerry Fitzgerald, who'll be the touch judge. John Kendall Carpenter, who has just declared the games open, is the other man there. Now Sir David meeting Marzio Innocenti, the Italian captain. That's the new fly half there, Ambrosia. Then Gaetaniello. There's Oscar Colodo, the little man. The big tall man is Franco Berni. There's the winger, Marcelo Cotito. Massimo Mascioletti, the fullback there with the balling head, is Gizzoni. Then into the forwards, and that's big Franco Berni, the biggest man in the tournament. Now we come into the front row, and these tough men, Tito Lupini there, and the halfback, Fulvio Lorigiola, and the hooker, Giorgio Morelli. The Italians looking pretty businesslike. That's the number 8 forward, Giuseppe Artuso. Marcelo Innocenti speaks excellent English, as we know. A look at the Italian lineup and you'll see that it's 15 players today have earned collectively over 300 international caps, starting with the fullback Serafino Guzzoni, who today is playing his 60th game. The Italian backline is fast and sharp, especially the left winger Marcello Cotita and the outside centre Oscar Colodo. At halfback is Fulvio Lorigiola, and he combines with the 3 clubmates in the loose forwards. And one of the locks, Franco Berni, is a 125-kilogram giant, possibly the biggest man in the World Cup. In the New Zealand team, David Kirk, who'll be number 9, returns to the captaincy that he lost on this ground 9 months ago against Australia. There are 3 new test players: fullback John Gallagher, number 15, the flanker Michael Jones, number 7, and the prop forward Richard Lowe, number 1. Once again, the 3 sets of twins, there was a set of twins in the team, Gary and Alan Wetton, and in fact there are 9 Aucklanders in the team, beating the previous record for one province by 2. And this is an historic memento, a coin used to toss for the match between New Zealand and England in 1925 will be used for the toss for this historic rugby occasion today. The referee with the coin is Bob Fordham. David Kirk will make the call. Innocenti will make his pick.
New Zealand, your decision. This is a Walton, you want to defend this end? It'll be a New Zealand kick. Thanks. Good luck, boys.
Okay, that's it. Referee Bob Fordham. That's Innocenti, the 29-year-old doctor from Petrarca. A very proud moment for this man today, who's been the captain of the Petrarca champion team for the last 3 years. So there are the Italian team and Graham Thorne. Pretty good conditions, but being Italians of Latin temperament, they might just be a bit temperamental. But here are the national anthems. So a look inside the Italian and now the All Black team huddle. So there it is. All the hoopla of international sport comes to New Zealand for rugby, and there's the Italian team who are taking the wind and the sun for the first 40 minutes of this World Cup match. Have a look at the teams. There's Unacenti again. Number 2 in the foreground is Guido Rossi, the hooker, and the All Blacks are doing their haka. So David Kirk, the 25-year-old, coming back to be the New Zealand team's captain today. Really the number 3 choice after the retirement of Jock Hobbs and the injury to Andy Dalton. So we've met the 2 captains. The Italian team away to the left. This is the only new player in the New Zealand team today, a real local boy, Michael Jones, from out the west of Auckland, pulling on the All Black jersey for the very first time. So there's the referee, Bob Fordham. Game will start exactly 3 o'clock. Let's really hope this can be a celebration of what William Webb Ellis started so long ago. Let's hope the series will be worthy of the trophy that bears the name, the William Webb Ellis Cup. The referee, Bob Fordham of Australia, signals and Grant Fox begins the first ever Rugby World Cup match. And the man with the ball is number 12, Warwick Taylor, from the kickoff. Ground conditions a little slippery. Out to Rodolfo Ambrosio, the new fly half for Italy. And what a kick for him. The first time he handles in international football. Now the Italians had a great player in Stefano Bettarello, but he couldn't come to New Zealand. And this man, Rodolfo Ambrosio, born in Argentina, is the new man in the number 10 shirt. So the Italians will be looking for big things from Ambrosio today. So now the first line out in the match. Inside the New Zealand 22, number 2 for New Zealand's Auckland, Sean Fitzpatrick. The big jumpers for Italy are Franco Berni, number 4, and Mauro Gardin, number 5. There's referee Bob Fordham, and let's look now along the faces. You can see that's Kirk again. The big man in the middle of the Italian line is the huge man, Franco Berni. That's Richard Lowe there. The weight going in from New Zealand, that's where they could have advantage. Former international Graham Thorne with me in the commentary box.
I think the conditions are actually suited so well to New Zealand. It's a bit slippery on top, and they've got three of the fastest men in world rugby. They're numbers 6, 7 and 8, Shelford, Jones and Wecky. They've got to have control, though, in these conditions.
So, David Kirk, Shelford is number 8, driving off the back. This may be where the All Blacks try the Italians out in the first few moments. First penalty of the match goes to New Zealand, just about their 22-metre line. They're having a look at some of these Italian for you. Number 1 is Guido Rossi. Next to him, number 3, the man walking away to the left. That's a Emilio Lupini, actually. He's the former Transvaal international. And Grant Fox clears. Lupini actually is South African born, but of course from Italian stock, and there he is, number 3. Number 5 is Mauro Gardine. And so it's Morelli at the front, number 2 to throw. The Italians might have a problem getting ball. That's Kirk, that's Michael Jones. You see the explosive speed off the mark. Kirk away to Grant Fox, the Auckland teammates. Craig Green left it behind in his first touch of the ball.
I think the All Blacks have to run it at the Italians, and there's Craig Green, who is just relishes Eden Park. He loves the ground.
Coming in from the left will be the halfback Fulvio Lorigiola. He's also from the Petrarca club, the champion club of Italy for the last 4 years. There are 4 others from that club in that pack you see there. Hooker Morelli is up. Lorigiola, now he likes to kick high to test the wingers. That's a Petrarca tactic. And you see they put the pressure straight on Craig Green. Players were in advance of the kick, though, and back we come to halfway. But look for Fulvio Lorigiola, the halfback, because he's very good at the high kick to the wingers, into the box, as we say in rugby parlance, or the one just behind the opposition backs. That's Lorigiola. He's 28-year-old. He's an immensely experienced player with 32 international caps.
Right up! Back up! Back up!
Once again, we're having trouble with the scrums, and with all the International Rugby Board people here watching this World Cup, we might finally get something done about it.
Kirk away to Fox. That's going to be a ball that Shafrino Guzzoni coming in. He made the catch. Oh, he got barreled by Jones. Innocenti down. This is Mascialetti. Good save by Massimo Mascialetti. Another example of the very experienced players in the Italian team. Here's a man playing his 47th international today, a former Italian captain.
There was a good kick from Grant Fox. It held up in the wind, but Guzzoni was equal to the task.
Well, that one was taken without any competition at all. There's another test for the fullback, Guzzoni. Another good kick, Taylor underneath it. Midfield, outside the Italian 22. Lorigiola. That's Oscar Collado. And what a stylish looking player. He is very fast in midfield. Number 13, Oscar Collado. He's a man who played with John Kerwin in the Treviso club when Kerwin spent some time in Italy.
71. 36, 71. Let's draw that.
That's Gardine, sorry. Innocenti off the back. He's the man there. You see number 7 for the Italians is Marzio Innocenti, the captain. Now he's the man that said if God wanted to make a rugby player, he would make him just like Jock Hobbs. And what a tribute from the man who really has expressed the utmost admiration for the former All Black captain. 10-metre line just to the right for Lorigiola. Six minutes gone, no score. So that was Attuso to Lorigiola, and the Italians pushing up nicely from that scrum position.
But basically it was a wasted kick by Lorigiola because he kicked it into touch instead of kicking it straighter down the field. But they've got the All Blacks a bit rattled, Keith.
Murray Pearce getting the ball. It didn't look straight to me, and that's the way the referee Bob Fordham from Australia sees it. You see the referee's uniform there. All the referees in the Rugby World Cup matches will be wearing that distinctive jersey that the referee Fordham is wearing today. Blue with the red hoop and the white around the edges. Lorigiola, Ambrosia. This is Colodo. Craig Green will take it behind his line. Oh, he nudged it on. Knocked it on, perhaps. Let's see what the referee said. No. Well, the Collywobbles belong to the All Blacks at the moment.
Well, traditionally, Keith, the All Black side do not play well in the first test of a series. And I suppose you could say this is the first test of a sort of series. The only thing in their favour is it's being played at Eaton Park, which has been a tremendous ground for the All Blacks over the years, except for last year, of course.
Fox kicks. 2 locks going in, but again deflected down to the New Zealand team. That's Taylor, Fly kicking the ball away. Well, Warwick Taylor playing his 17th international today, which makes him the most capped second 5/8 in New Zealand rugby history. Warwick Taylor from Canterbury. Giorgio Morelli throws, jumping at number 6 in the line-out. Gianni Farina. Lorigiola. Gallagher back for his first touch, and again, not quite a clean catch, but touchdown anyway. John Gallagher.
I think it might be worth the All Blacks just taking a big drop kick up the field and trying to take some of the pressure off, because they've really got the jitters.
Grant Fox, 8 minutes gone, charged down by Morelli.
So it didn't go over the 22, and that's another kick, not a scrum.
It's a marvellous rugby occasion. My word, the atmosphere is really buzzing here. With up to 25,000 people in Eden Park. Gary Wetton is number 5 for New Zealand. Lorigiola, who already looks a dangerous man. Ambrosio, Colodo, Gaetaniello. The fullback Kitsoni is up. The left wing is Marcelo Katuta, and Gallagher gets him.
That was good defence work from the All Blacks, because they came up in a line and left the winger to the fullback.
That's the left wing, the little man, Marcelo Katuta. Ten-metre mark, New Zealand territory. Fitzpatrick. Well, he rather pitched that one down the Italian side. Fox letting it go this time. Taylor thrown down by Gardine halfway. No score, 10 minutes gone in rugby's first ever World Cup match. Fulvio Lorigiola. Remember, the 3 loose forwards and Lorigiola are all from the same club, the champion club of Italy these last 4 years. So there are many combinations you could expect from Lorigiola and his loose men, Attuso, Innocenti and Farina. It's gone on the New Zealand side. Kerwin. Tackle by Kutita. That's Alan Whitten. Ball's there, Kirk. Whistle's gone, lost board. No, that was a shot.
There's that man again, John Kerwin. He's been having a brilliant year this year at Eden Park. When he gets the ball, you can hear the crowd roar.
Kitsoni making the clearance. Oh, he hasn't found it. Kerwin again getting up speed. Jones. Oh, the way ahead is clear for Jones.
just over anxious, the All Blacks. They're getting the gaps there, but they just can't capitalise on them.
I thought Jones could have actually sprinted in at the corner then, Graham. But what did you think? The way ahead was, it looked pretty clear.
If this was his 4th or 5th test, I think he would have done it, Keith.
Basketball experience coming into play there, the way he hooked the ball back inside. But there he is, a magnificent young man, Michael Jones, no doubt about it. The Italians now in defence. Now let's see how their Latin temperament stands up here under the kind of pressure that the All Blacks have put on the last few months. A little tussle going on there between Lorigiola and Kirk, you see, over the back, trying to dominate the position right in the scrum channel, I would think. Big scrum from New Zealand, but they're going to get it to the Italians. This is Serafino Guzzoni.
Already the Italian scrum is starting to break up. They don't want to really go down, I don't think. That's why we're having so much trouble in the front row. And Guzzoni there was in all sorts of bother. I thought he was going to get out of it, but he didn't. So here's the 5-metre scrum with the big blind.
12 minutes gone. New Zealand looking for some control. Driving on by the loose man, Kirk. Shoveled away towards Kerwin. Kirk again. And that's Lorigiola looking after his opposite number. Well, the Italians said that if they could weather the early pressure by New Zealand, they would compete in this game. They started out very well, but this is pressure time for the Italian 15. Giorgio Morelli throwing. Wetton is number 5. Fitzpatrick, that's very close to the corner flag there, you see in the background.
So this scrum could go down right on the goal line because it was held up. Of course, this is Test rugby we're playing, so there are scrums closer than 5 metres. So don't forget, the moment the ball goes over the goal line, it's open slather. Anyone can fall on it. The scrum finishes.
30 minutes gone. The weight is going in. That's Innocenti. Hey, referee's awarded a penalty try. The referee has awarded a penalty try, so a sensational opening score in the Rugby World Cup Series.
Without doubt, he was penalised. It looked like Innocenti, actually, that was penalised.
So in the replay, it looks like an obstruction by the Italians. Innocenti, the captain, and that has cost them the opening try. Let's see if we can see anything from the next angle. There it is again, David Kirk. Now look for number 7 to the left, the Italian team. Maybe it was a deliberate collapse, Graham Thorne.
No, I don't think so. I think that it was actually an offside, a deliberate offside to stop the ball coming out.
In that case, we would perhaps put the blame on the Italian captain, Innocenti.
There he is there. So the World Cup gets off to an explosive start and a penalty try being awarded by the referee, Mr. Fordham from Australia, against Italy.
So the kick went over from underneath the post. That's where the penalty try is awarded, and David Kirk has let that ball go. That's a bad mistake, and I guess he'll be grinding his teeth, the little New Zealand captain.
There was something in the song, communication breakdown, completely there. Yours, mine, nobody's, and look at that, right on defence. New Zealand ball though.
New Zealand leading by 6-0. Sean Fitzpatrick to throw. The corner flag is right there. Well, the Italians are not competing very well at line-out time. Number 4 is Gardine. Sorry, number 4 is Franco Berni. Actually, have a look at this guy, number 4. He is a huge man. He's 125 kilograms. And that's him in the left of the second row. And that's about 19 stone 6. So defensive scrum for New Zealand. So that Italian forward pack is being stretched to the limit there in line-outs and scrums.
New Zealand getting out of the danger area by just picking up the ball from number 8 and forcing the Italians back, and of course getting the put in every time. Now they've got a bit of room behind that scrum in front of the goal line, so Kirk can probably kick for touch.
There's the Italians putting in a scrum here. Wayne Shelford off the back. Alan Wetton in support. And the Italians went over the top. So 17 minutes gone in the game, and certainly New Zealand and Italy have played an exciting and pulsating first quarter, but the dominance by the All Blacks is becoming a bit evident. Certainly in those early moments, the Italian backs look very sharp. The line-out dominance is showing in the line-out count, 7-1 to the All Blacks. To throw again is Giorgio Morelli. Now they're trying it down the back. They've got one again. That's the flanker, Farina. Oh, that was just so awkward there in the backs for Ambrosio.
It's knocked on the line out by New Zealand. So I think Italy should try and run it at the All Blacks. They shouldn't kick it at them. They should try and run it wide with their little nippy centres.
Okay, let's see if they can work it in their backs this time, the Italian team, after 18 minutes of play. Lorigiola, Ambrosio, he's trying the angle kick for the corner. Gallagher. Well, he didn't judge his angles right. This is John Gallagher, an All Black, a new test player from the Oriental Rongotai Club in Wellington. They haven't had a test player since Clive Curry played in the number 15 jersey back in 1978. Having his first game for the All Blacks in New Zealand, Grant Fox. It's a good catch by Gardine. Ambrosio kicking again. Craig Green. So the Canterbury winger, Craig Green, has only been in the winning All Black Test team 8 times out of his 14 internationals. He'll be trying to improve that percentage in the World Cup. Kirk, Fox, Taylor, Stanley along the chain, Kerwin, Gallagher in, that's what he's in the team for. Kotita made the save, and number 13 is Kalogo. So a background for the first team to try it along the line with the All Blacks.
And if John Gallagher continues on from what he was like in Whangarei a couple of weeks ago, this could be a really good match, as long as the rain stays off and the ball doesn't get slippery.
Out in the New Zealand backs again. Stanley getting up towards halfway. Ambrosio got pushed off. Jones! Alan Wetton! Shuffled the victory, loose man. Good work by Gary Wetton. The ball is there for New Zealand. Kirk. And a penalty to New Zealand. They were over keen to get at David Kirk, and a midfield penalty to New Zealand, only about 20 metres out.
You can see the dramatic play by the loose forwards for New Zealand. That they just run at the Italians, and this is what they've got to do. Joe Stanley and Michael Jones and Alan Wetton just running at the Italians, and then the ball just went away from Steve McDowell, and that was the end of the movement.
Fox is only about 20 metres up. He's gone right back to his full extent of his run. 21 minutes gone. So 9 points to nil now, the All Blacks lead, and I guess, Graham Thorne, the Italians will be looking to their discipline. They've cost them 9 points there with the penalty try and then the penalty.
Yes, Keith, they've got to watch this, but I still think they've got to play the game to the All Blacks. They can't take them on up front. They're not going to win the scrums. They're not winning the lineouts. So all the ball they get, they've got to use 100% of it. But the All Black team in the last 5 minutes has changed from that first 10 minutes.
Okay, Ambrosio kicks out and kicks at a deep one. Well, that's the right idea, to push the All Blacks back behind their 22-metre line. This is Rodolfo Ambrosio. Hits his first match for Italy today, as I said before, replacing the legend of Italian rugby, Stefano Bettorello, a 24-year-old. And this is about the fourth dropout from the 22 from the New Zealand team. You see the jump, the two number 5s went to Wetton. Fox. Now this is Serafino Guzzoni, the veteran fullback, who's been in the team for 11 years. Good tackle by John Kerwin. Kerwin actually cleared it to Kirk. Oh, could be an overlap here if it bounces right. Shelford, Gallagher. Craig Green beats Ambrosio. Ambrosio doesn't look too keen on the tackle, number 10. Look at the way the black shirts are flying in. So just a couple of questions being asked about some of the defence of these little nimble Italian backs as the All Blacks run hard at them. New Zealand looking into the strong sun in the first 40 minutes. Shelford is number 8. Wetton number 6 jumping in over the top. Now the Italians have this one. Well, that will be a penalty against Sean Fitzpatrick. So there's Ambrosio away to touch. It's a Mauro Gardine, his 20th international. Tap ball for Kirk, lovely ball really. Taylor, Kerwin. You see that repeated battering by the All Blacks might call the question that Italian defence. The Italians are looking like this one, but they can't clear it.
Then again, the All Blacks lost the ball then. The ball went out of John Kerwin's arms into the Italian side of the maul.
Okay, midfield position, Graham. You still say they've got to run it. Bit of tricks from the backs.
Yes, they're doing a split in the backs now, the Italians. They've got a big blind to the left. You can see that the fly half Ambrosio is standing a bit to the left there.
So, Lorgiola away to Colodo at fly half. He is a fly half, but they've kicked it again. Shelford. Kirk. Fox. There's Guzzoni coming from fullback. Kerwin. Good tackle by Gaetaniello. And slippery ball there. Kerwin again. Another good tackle, this time by Gaetaniello again.
John Gallagher getting himself in a bit of trouble there. He's running out of support, but luckily Wayne Shelford was across in a flash to help him. when that kick was charged down by the Italians, as yet Italy have only won 2 line-outs. But they are up 6-5 in the scrum, which is an indication that New Zealand are actually doing all the work.
Fulvio Lorigiola, 10-metre mark. That's the high one. He likes to put the pressure on Kerwin. See, Kutitan didn't have quite the power to put Kerwin over, but nevertheless, that's the strength of Lorigiola's play. And the Italians appealing against the referee's decision there. Fox off the left boot. Hasn't found the touch, and they're not retiring 10 metres. The Italians now, they're looking a wee bit ragged in the last few moments.
And Mr. Fordham, the referee, has not awarded a mark yet. Both wingers have marked the ball, but both their marks have been disallowed. A lot of controversy over marks. They were outlawed outside the 22s. A lot of people said they shouldn't be in the game at all. So perhaps Mr. Fordham thinks so too.
Innocenti at the back has lost his headband, so that's him, number 7. That's the 7th penalty against Italy, and this is Innocenti asking the referee about his repeated penalising of the team. Speaks the good English, does Marzio Innocenti. That's 7 penalties to 1 in the game so far. Whole feast of rugby ahead of New Zealand and the world in the next 29 days. That's one the Italians have got. Can their pack work it for Lurigiola? Kitsoni hasn't found the line. Kerwin to Gallagher. To Green. Green swap wings. That's Richard Lowe, the new test cap. Gets his first run with the ball. A nice setup too. Okay, Kerwin's over on the other wing. The 2 wingers swapped over Kerwin, lost it ahead again. So the 2 wingers swapped over Graham, and there it is, lost forward, rolling, tumbling out of John Kerwin's hands and lost forward.
Yes, the All Blacks are determined now, it seems, to throw the ball around and take it to the Italians. They realise already that the tackling isn't that good from the blue-shirted fellows, and their scrum is going to take a pound.
Shelford, tight head, Alan Wetton, Fox, in pass, and the first try scored by an individual in the World Cup goes to Michael Jones, and don't they just love it on Eden Park? And what an ovation. It came from a tight head, Shelford to Wetton to Fox, and look for number 7, Michael Jones. They left him unguarded, and he was a try on his debut match.
It's a support play that got the try for Michael Jones. He's done it all this year and last year, supporting the ball carrier. Fox digs in here. See, he looks inside, and who's there but number 7, Michael Jones? And the try line was there, and he was over it.
Again, the loose men. Shelford to Alan Wetton. To Fox, who turns it in field, and you can see in the background Jones in the roving role of the flying flanker, and that was the first individual try for New Zealand in the Cup Series. Grant Fox with the conversion attempt. Hit it dead straight, 13 points to 0. 31 minutes gone. And Michael Jones from Auckland, a try on his debut. I spoke with him the other day, and the enormous pride in his face and in his voice and in his persona certainly signalled to everyone that this would be a big day for him, and he's capped it by scoring that very fine try to get his career away to a great start.
So now Italy have got it all ahead of them, like the man in the wheelbarrow, with the wheelbarrow. There's Alan Wetton having a charge.
Kirk. Shelford. It's going to be crash bash by Alan Wetton and Shelford, I think, and this man too. You see, there's Alan Wetton again. Great run by Alan Wetton. Hey, Big Gary's getting in the act, his twin brother. All Blacks looking awesome. Spinning to Stanley, to Gallagher, to Green, who took the ball straight. Knocked forward again, right on the goal line. Now we saw that from Craig Green at Bongaray a fortnight ago, coming in at an angle to the passer and changing the direction of the ball. And my word, it's very effective.
That was tremendous play by the All Blacks, supporting the ball carrier, and that's the sort of play we've seen on Eden Park from the Auckland team, and they today were doing it for the All Blacks. You can see it now, the way the ball, look at the wide open spaces they're looking for. JJ Stewart, a great believer in this, get it out away from the high rent districts, I suppose you could say, and there's the coming in on the angle from Craig Green, and the support play, look at that, 13's there, 15's there, right up with Green. There was the knock on, and we come back for the scrum.
Yes, the thing was, look at the angle that Craig Green comes from Gallagher. He just changes the direction of the line of attack. Here it comes. You see, it's against the cut. And that is a beautiful shot, showing Craig Green flying through a very tiny gap, but just lost forward by the New Zealand team. So he's a danger man. That's a speciality that he's picked up, and you can see that Gizzoni, the fullback, looking across at where Green is. The match resumes, about 7 minutes to go till half-time. Lloyd Giola back to Gizzoni. This is Serafino Gizzoni, the highest capped Italian rugby player of all time, his 60th international today. And these are genuine internationals against other countries. On the 22-metre line, Kirk, Fox, Taylor, Kerwin in from the wing. Lots of Italians there, and there were 7 and 8 of them. There it is. Kirk, Fox, Green, and Mascialetti. And Mascialetti takes the ball out over the touchline. Craig Green's got to get it for the quick throw.
Good play from Grant Fox there, kicking it, because they were running out of players there, and when John Kerwin was taken out of play, John Gallagher went onto his wing, so the All Blacks at least are thinking about what they're doing out there. There's the goal line to the left.
6-8-2, drive! Oh, 5-8-6-1, drive! 5-8-6-1, drive!
Lots of communication. Oh, Innocenti's lost it right near the line. Shelford has it. Very controlled ruck. Kirk, Fox, Taylor. Under the goalposts. Again, the All Blacks rucking it. You see the big man Shelford driving. Oh, well, that ball was there. Maybe a New Zealand referee, or maybe or give Mr. Fordham the benefit of the doubt there. He might not have been able to see that from where he is standing, but another referee might have let that one go a wee bit longer.
Yeah, the Italian definitely didn't like it, but there it was, and if you can see the ball, it might be trapped, but you've got to get your feet over it. So this is the position, the perfect position. The All Black side can do anything they like. They've got a big blind. Well, they haven't got a blind really. They've got an open side both ways.
Drop kick too, possibility. And the pushover. And the try, is it? I think. Did he lose it forward? Yes, he did. He lost it forward.
Shelford was the man there. I think he had it under control. It could be a bit slippery, of course. It's been raining on and off all day. So now we have another one of those scrums right underneath the goalpost. And you can see it's only about 3 metres out. But it's Italy's ball. but they don't really want to hook it because it's going to come back over the line. And once it's over the line, there's no offsides.
Lorigiola. And down went Blackton Yellow. And Lorigiola and Kirk just pushing. It's quite a healthy little rivalry they're having there. Two number 9s, David Kirk.
I think David Kirk's got a bit more firepower behind him, Keith, and the All Black forwards.
Kirk, clean heel. Stanley. Jones again. Oh, the number 8 forward, Atuzo, let him go. Kirk is on his own. And Kirk's in. The pressure was relentless, and Kirk scored the try. Here is the build-up for you. It went a wee bit wrong here with Stanley and Kerwin not quite getting it together. Jones running, taken down, but look really for number 9, because when the ball is well positioned by Jones for the forwards to come in, there's really no one on the blind side. And David Kirk, it was a 3-on-1, you see. The poor man there, the Italian defender Artuso, had no chance at all. Held up, and no goal from Fox. 17 points to 0.
There's Jones on the burst. Now, what's the way when the ruck starts that David Kirk gets the ball back? Now, this is a situation where Kutita had to tackle the man with the ball on defence. He's got to tackle the man, not his winger. He went for John Kerwin, left the gap, try.
The kick-off down to the New Zealand captain, who's just scored a try, and a big cheer for him. And already the New Zealand team in this game have equalled the number of tries they scored in 6 internationals last year. Kirk. McDowell, but it's a free kick to Italy. The Italians have had very few penalties and free kicks. That's only their 2nd in the game. Now they might try for a drop goal here. They've brought up number 13, Oscar Colodo, but they're getting set for some sort of move. Artuso, here it goes back to Oscar Colodo, number 13. And Italy are on the board with a drop goal by Oscar Colodo. Well, that will be encouraging for the Italian team. From the free kick, the simple pass, the forwards are in there as a sort of a block and the decoy, and nicely struck by Colodo. Referee Fordham took a long time to see this one, and got in good position, but signalled it over.
They set up a very elaborate decoy system to the Italians, with Artuso and Lorigiola going across, and it was good passing and good kick.
Coming to the end of the first 40 minutes of this Rugby World Cup pool match. Gazzoni is under pressure, and a penalty there to Italy, so they've had 2 in the last few minutes, so an elbow win in there on one of the defenders. Rodolfo Ambrosio. As I said before, he's an Argentinian born. His family still live there. And in fact, the Italians are after the Argentinians, because some comments about Italian rugby from Hugo Porter were reported back to Ambrosio by his parents in Buenos Aires. And the Italians were very angry at what Porter said. He said that they would comfortably beat Italy by 50 points. So the word has come back from Buenos Aires.
Kirk
Fox, Taylor, Gallagher in. It's only looking very fast. Oh, good catch by Kerwin. Taylor again. Jones. The boy has instinct to find the gaps. Gary Witt, 10 metres out. Kirk, Fox, Stanley, Gallagher. But only a drop pass on the line has denied the All Blacks a try there.
They made it hard for themselves because there was no one on the other side. They went to the left, and I think that's half-time actually, with New Zealand ahead by 17, no, I think it is actually, 17 points to 3.
Yes, it looks like the referee Fordham has taken that chance to whistle half-time, and there is the score at the break. New Zealand 17, Italy 3 from Eden Park. Signalling to the New Zealand captain and to the Italians. And this Rugby World Cup international pool match, the second 40 minutes begins. Rodolfo Ambrosio kicked off, and at half-time the New Zealand team led by 17 points to 3. A half in which the All Blacks showed glimpses of some awesome power, and here in the opening moment of the second half, a penalty chance for the Italians, and this could close the gap. Innocenti looks like he wants to have a shot at goal. It's about 40 metres out, and this would be a good beginning for the Italian team in the second half.
There's a stronger wind than you think blowing actually from the west, probably southwest. And it comes through behind the number 2 stand at Eden Park, right across towards about halfway from your right as we look up the field. So it'll push the ball to the right-hand post.
3 tries to New Zealand in the first half. A penalty try, 1 to Jones, 1 to Kirk. Colodo here, number 13, had a drop goal. And he's added the first points in the second half, Oscar Colodo, and it's 17 points to 6.
That was a good kick because he aimed it at the left-hand post and the wind did the rest, just pushed it a bit to the right and threw it in. A very good kick. He kicks the ball very cleanly, doesn't he, Keith?
He certainly does. A very stylish play, very fast too on the run, but we haven't seen much back play from the Italians. Grant Fox restarts a minute into the second half. Touchdown by...
Went forward.
Yes. Kitsoni went forward.
He lost control of it when he was going to force it down and knocked it forward, so a 5-metre scrum. A very bad mistake by Kitsoni, and he's not happy with himself.
Okay, yeah, that could possibly take away the advantage the Italians have built for themselves. Fox, Stanley, straight out to Kerwin. Lots of men ahead of him. Gallagher, and Taylor has struck back for the All Blacks. Well, there's an example of how not to play international rugby. The mistakes have to be kept out. Kitsoni fumbled the ball, and the All Blacks had the scrum. It went out along the chain, and Warwick Taylor scored. It came from the scrum. There was all sorts of juggles from Fox. Then Taylor was left out, but he was sprinting behind the backs, out of the picture. And Kerwin passes to Gallagher. You see Taylor sprinted right around the back of them. And that's classic second 5/8 play from Warwick Taylor.
Good move by the All Blacks. The double skip. There's the first one. There's the second one. Watch the way Taylor was out of the blocks and backing up. Now the quick hands from Gallagher made the try there. Quick bang. Away he goes. Gives it to Taylor. And he outstrips him on the outside. Looking at the down low replay, we'll see it again. Watch the quick hands from John Gallagher. There he is, the redhead in the centre. He's coming outside Kerwin. He's running with the ball in one hand like the legendary Pine Tree used to do. Quick hands, commits Kitsoni. Taylor does the rest.
4 tries today for New Zealand. So that's a 6-point try that the Italians gave away that time by that fumble behind the line. But in fact, it might cost them more in terms of morale. And Grant Fox converts the try scored by Warwick Taylor, setting the new record for second 5/8 appearances for New Zealand today. Remember, they juggled about at second 5/8 last year, and Arthur Stone was in the team. This man missed the tour to France at the end of the year, but he's back with a vengeance today.
The poor old Italians will have their tails down a bit there. Richard Lowe waiting for the kick-off. Disastrous mistake by Gizzoni.
Morelli, number 2. Innocenti is playing half-back. Kirk on the blind side. Kerwin, just like they do for Auckland. Shelford hasn't gone forward, I don't think. Yes, it did, said referee Fordham. David Kirk, he found the blind side completely unguarded and exploited it beautifully, making a nice run for his winger Kerwin.
Good play by Kutita, the left winger for Italy, though. He went backwards and committed Kirk to keep on running, so he had Kirk coming inside. If he'd gone in and tackled Kirk, he would have given Kerwin a clean path down the sideline.
Coming! Keep it on!
Lorigiola back to Gizzoni. Gizzoni, known as a very temperamental player, lots of gestures and lots of chat from him and shouting from the back. He used to be a winger, but as he's got on in age and slowed down a wee bit, he's gone back to fullback. But a man of 60 years in 60 internationals should not make mistakes like that. Alan Wetton got the tap.
I've been very impressed, Keith, with the ability of the Italians to get the ball back, to smuggle it back, even though it was on the All Blacks side on a number of occasions. But anyway, it's the All Blacks ball this time for the put-in. Those scrums still a shambles.
That's Guido Rossi on the side against Richard Lowe. Kirk, look at Kerwin lurking up to the right. Loose men drive on into a new position. And that man there, number 2, Giorgio Morelli, is offside. Number 6 is Gianni Farina. Well, the All Blacks have tapped this one. Away to Fox, they're running it across the goalpost. There's the first surprise, really, of All Black tactics. At 23-6, they didn't go for the set 3 points, which Fox could have put over. They've gone instead for 6. Well, Graham Thorpe, what do you think of that? It's refreshing.
Well, they actually messed it up a bit, actually, the backs, and it was only the forwards that salvaged it for them. I think they must have got a fright out in the centres, because they didn't really have a move on. They just had a quick tap kick, but they still get the put in now about 3 metres out, so the forwards perhaps might take control again.
Shelford Kirk, and Craig Green has got all the time in the world to go through. It's the classic left-o move, which Murray Mexted and Bernie Fraser and company made famous a few years ago. Your number 8 moves left, the halfback takes the pass, and then the left winger waltzes in. And look at that from Craig Green.
Well, I go back a bit further to the classic lefto with Brian Lahore, Keith Quinn, and it is 1, 2, 3, and Clive Green plays with him. He says he's going to put the ball down, he doesn't, and runs in to shorten the angle for Grant Fox.
Well, before today, Craig Green hadn't scored a try in the test since way back in November '85 in Buenos Aires. He's improved his total by 2 today. And this is starting to look like it could wind up a very big score indeed in the opening Rugby World Cup match. 27 points to 6. And here comes Fox's conversion attempt. He's missed a few today, has Grant Fox. Not to been his happy end, that one.
These, of course, are new balls that they're playing with, ones that we haven't played with before, mitre balls, and they just could be taking a bit of time to get used to as the ball goes out on the full, and Ambrosio wouldn't be too happy with that one. So perhaps the Italians just losing the wheels a bit, Keith.
There's the special sponsored balls that are being used. They are mitre balls, and I suspect we're going to see some more rain. It's just cooling down a little bit here at Eden Park. We might see another shower blow in from the left-hand side. Gallagher. Guzzoni. Kerwin's got that one.
He wasn't on his feet when he picked up the ball.
10 minutes gone, second half, 27 points to 6. Well, perhaps a little lack of leadership there. Ambrosio was looking around wondering what to do, and there were several different bits of advice, but he's found the touch. That's Tito Lupini on the far side in the front row. Fulvio Lorigiola. Ambrosio. Collado, a bit slow from Ambrosio. Guzzoni. Oh, just a bit sluggish in the Italian backs that time. Quite a few of them then, Graham Thorne, had their heads up, looking for the big flying men in black coming at them.
Yes, I think I'd rather be playing in the black jerseys today than the blue ones, Keith. That I still think about these balls that have come out onto the field with this rain. They do get a bit slippery.
The left-o move again. Kirk. So Lorigiola away to Ambrosio. Oh, he's never going to get anywhere, jinking and dodging 10 yards from his own goal line. Lorigiola again. This is Guzzoni, does the same thing. He gets caught. Now they're running it still.
Well, I suppose we've got to give them a clap, but they're going to do things like that against an All Black side. They've got to be a bit better at it, because they had 3 goes before they finally did manage to get the ball into touch. The number of sides that have tried to run the ball from their own goal line. I remember France a few years ago tried, and Murray Taylor got a try, I remember.
Ambrosio is the injured player. He's having his first game in the Italian jersey today, and what a baptism of fire it's been for him. And there was, he's paying the price there for jinking around on the spot, and he really got hammered by several All Blacks. Well, it's been great rugby occasion. The Rugby World Cup is here and now it's happening, and 25,000 Aucklanders, perhaps a few more than that, have come to Eden Park to enjoy the rugby, and it's going to be on your screens and at the grounds throughout 9 New Zealand venues and 2 in Australia throughout the next 29 days. Supporters coming in from overseas supporting their teams. It's a great feeling of an international sports event at last in New Zealand's national game. The restart. Clean jump again from Alan Wetton. Drive from the black pack. Richard Lowe, you see they're in complete control there. There's almost no expression in their faces. They don't have to exert individual pressure. The mass force is there. Taylor, Stanley, that's Artuso pushing off. Goal line just ahead. Fox, Kerwin, Taylor. Kerwin just forced out of the corner.
The backs doing good work backing up there. When they pass the ball, they get round the man that they've passed to in support of him.
McDowell tapping down to Fitzpatrick. Kirk away to Fox. Stanley, Taylor, Gallagher. Green's going to get 3. That's a hat-trick for the flying Canterbury left winger. Well, it was a back move which began from a tap-down ball, and there are a few misses here. Taylor, who's been the danger man today, is left out, and maybe the Italians just looked at it, but 2 good long passes, and the third one saw Craig Green in easy street as he goes in for his third.
The wide open spaces again. The high density areas left behind. There's the third pass, and now out to Green, and all Craig Green has to do is go over the line.
Fox has goaled it. So 33 points to 6, New Zealand leading. So the first big mistake of Rugby World Cup 87 is the commentator that says Green's got 3 when it's only 2. But lots of tries down the left wing side for New Zealand today. A penalty try as well. 1 to Michael Jones, David Kirk, and the tries piling up now. That's 6 of them to New Zealand in the match.
Well, I reckon Michael Jones will get another try, Keith. There you are.
That'll be 2 if he does, Scram. Look at this. Alan Wetton having a very good game indeed. Fumble at halfway.
Now I think the game is going to loosen up now completely for the All Blacks. They've got what could be called a big cushion, 33 points to 6. They're starting to enjoy themselves. They've lost the tatas. They're confident now.
The guests are living in camp for over a week together. All sorts of nervous tension builds up, but once they've shaken it off, scored a few tries, and now they're really starting to express themselves, none more so than Alan Wetton. And that was offside play. That's the number 8 forward, Giuseppe Artuso. Good tall man, his 31st cap. Fox being called forward. And they used Fox's left boot to go down for position. New Zealand's next match in Rugby World Cup is at Lancaster Park in Christchurch against Fiji. That's next Wednesday. Queen's birthday Monday, Wellington. They're against Argentina at Athletic Park. Fox, Taylor, Kerwin, Green. See how quick Jones was there. Well picked up by Shelford. Oh, touch judge's flag is out from... Oh, here's trouble. Touch judge's flag is out there. It's Jim Fleming from Scotland. 2 Australians and a Scot controlling this match. And you could see that Bob Fordham had no idea of what happened there. He has to take the line umpire's word. Now, there's a neutral situation here for the controlling of the game. Kirk being spoken to. And a penalty against New Zealand. for that infringement there, and I didn't have any idea what that was for, Graham.
No, but the All Black team started going back the moment Fordham started talking to his line umpire, though, or touch judge, Keith.
Patrick throws. The 5 is Gary Wetton.
Well, he was so offside, he just about started to, before the game, to get hold of David Kirk. So Giorgio Morelli ran far too quickly on David Kirk.
Minutes to play in the match, 33 points to 6. One of the nice things I like about the Italian team is the numbers on their shorts, so you can see them coming. And that's Marcello Cutita.
Thought it was number 2, Keith. 1-1-2.
This is another young man who played a lot of rugby in South Africa. He's Italian born. His family went down there to work in Durban in a construction business that Mr. Cutita Senior had. And this is young Marcello, just his 3rd game for Italy, marking John Kerwin. Meantime, Fox, with that very precise kicking style of his. It's a 30-point lead for New Zealand now in this Rugby World Cup match, live from Eden Park in Auckland.
The crowd didn't really like Grant Fox having a kick at goal, but you've got to remember that the All Blacks have got to win well. It's the first game of the Rugby World Cup, and they've got to even put a bit of fear into their other opponents by putting up a good score here.
There's another reason too, Graham, you've got to keep piling points on, because if there is a draw at the end of play in the quartered semi-finals, they play extra time. Now that'll be interesting in itself, but if there is a tie at the end of extra time, the points for and against will be divided into each other, so every point will count in these matches. So there'll be no slackening off, because it could count in a tight situation in the quarters and semi-finals when it's knockout.
Grant Fox again with that left foot. A lot of people say that Grant Fox isn't that good on his left foot today. He's kicked some really beauties.
Murray Pearce just getting a bit slowly today. He looks like he could even be limping. Passes through the picture. Now going to perhaps have a look at Pearce. Yeah, there he is, not looking too happy. Taking a little break now, the New Zealand team. In fact, they're looking at Fitzpatrick as well. $36 points to 6, so they've more than doubled the score from the first half. And I really think, Graham, that the tides opened when Serafina Guzzoni dropped that ball and fumbled behind the goal line, and the All Blacks got the 6-pointer straight away.
Yeah, it's not that that was going to make much difference overall in the game, but you're dead right about that. There is Guzzoni just dropped that ball. It was sort of such a casual touchdown for a 22, and the ball just popped out of his hands.
Match restarts again, Lorigiola. I'd love to see those Italian backs have a run, Graham. They haven't really, apart from very early on in the match. The pack here just haven't really got the ball, and that was the fear that Marzio Innocenti had.
They had all the chances in the first quarter of an hour, and they didn't take them. They just kept on kicking the ball up in the air, as if they'd made the tactics in the dressing shed.
Fitzpatrick gets the strike. Kirk to Fox to Taylor. Combination up, and it's Gallagher. Kuchita got him a good tackle. Stanley there again. Well, if the All Blacks continue to play like this and other teams continue to throw the ball around in the backs, we're going to have some tremendous rugby in the next month. Here they go again. Fox, swing it wide. Taylor, who's had an excellent game. Craig Green. Alan Witten. And the try is there for Richard Lowe. Sorry, McDowell. Here it comes again. Out into the backs. Taylor. This time Green piling back. Now look for the props charging through. Number 3 is Lowe. Number 1 is McDowell. And big Steve McDowell launches himself for the line.
Here it comes again. There's the crash ball from Craig Green. And there the forwards go over. Alan Witten doing some great work, turns the ball so well and sets it up for his prop forward, big Steve McDowell. You can't stop him close to the line.
$42-6. The kick has gone over. And if this is official international, that's the biggest score that New Zealand has posted in an international. They got a 42 against England in 1985, and there's a match that was played between New Zealand and the United States in 1913, in which New Zealand scored just over 50 points. So that's under threat now.
Knocked on by Alan Witten. We're starting to have to look towards the record books now, Keith, haven't we? 42-6. And all one-way traffic ready for the All Blacks.
Ambrosio, those are the kind of kicks that aren't going to help the Italians. Well, Mascialetti made a good catch. Massimo Mascialetti. Michael Jones off the back, marking Marzio Innocenti. You see, even the tap balls are bouncing kindly for the New Zealand team, although that was a wild one. That's Innocenti halfway. Tolodo to Ambrosio.
So the quick throw-in didn't work there as Sean Fitzpatrick came through and stopped the ball going 5 metres, so Italy get their best scoring chance in the second half.
Now, have they got anything in the backs to show us? Lurigiola. Drop kick from Ambrosio. That's Gary Witten, number 5. Kirk. Box. Kerwin and Green and Gallagher. And Jones. And Taylor. Alan Witten. Advantage being played. Mascialetti. And referee Fordham has played it quite well across to the line out on the far side.
Yeah, so considering the Italians have only won one line out in the second half, I think if he was on their side in that advantage situation, he might have come back for the scrum. Not that it's going to make that much difference. But the All Blacks in full flight again.
That's the 22-metre line there. 13 minutes to play. Fox picked it up beautifully. Stanley. That's the 22 there. Shelford. Fox. Nice little sidestep. Kirk. And now Kerwin. And Auckland's hero, John Kerwin is in. Here it comes again. Alan Wetton has just taken a feast of ball in the lineouts. And when it was hoofed through the lineout, it was picked up beautifully by Fox. Taylor again pushing into the defenders and drawing them. But out on the left, John Kerwin was waiting all the time. A lovely handoff by Shelford and a good little jig by Fox and a nice little set-up pass by Kirk. Made it easy for John Kerwin.
It was actually made by Michael Jones, getting to that ball very quickly and getting it back, and Shelford picked it up. Foxy had a little run on his own, and then David Kirk thought about selling a dummy, but then he gave it out to John Kerwin.
Well, Kerwin's another who hadn't had a try in a test match since way back in 1985 in Buenos Aires. Lovely kick by Fox. That's 48 points to 6.
Here it is, you can see the way then that Michael Jones went down after that ball when the tackle was made, and then the rest was Shelford, Kirk, and then Kerwin made it look so easy.
Well, you can have all the organisation in the world and all the planning, but you cannot allow for one of rugby's great traditions, the dog on the field.
We'll go back to that famous game at Lancaster Park. Was it the touch judge, Keith?
They've got all security here. Everybody's got to wear tags at the World Cup to identify themselves. And they're all like dog collars. You wear them around your neck. But that guy there, he didn't have any ID. So Ambrosio kicks off. The Italians are beaten right out of the action now. New Zealand have scored 48 points, Sam. They might be looking for 50. John Kerwin.
Well, in the South Island and a lot of places around New Zealand, they say he's not that good. Well, I'm not going to say a thing because you just watch it.
He says it all for himself, Graham. This is just marvellous running.
And at the end, he just plays for them and scores the try.
Fox has converted. It's 54 points to 6. And really just that look there with the back lit, you could have sworn maybe it was a little halo over the man from Auckland. And what two wonderful tries there were by John Kerwin.
This year at Eton Park, he has, as they say, walked on water.
And here he goes again! What's happened here? Everybody's taken by surprise.
The throw-in from halfway is allowed in the laws of the game.
Now, let's explain that one. The try has been scored, and that was a technicality on the rule book, which the All Blacks played brilliantly. David Kirk's asking the referee that he pick it. When the ball is kicked out of the full, you have the choice of taking the kick again, receiving the kick, or taking a line out at halfway. The All Blacks ran to halfway and took the quick line out, and away they raced for a try. There's the end of it, with Kerwin in passing to Kirk. They cooked it up over on that side, and that is a shock try for the All Blacks. They've scored 3 tries in a row, and I don't think the Italians have touched it apart from the kickoff.
It's only one ball, Keith. You've got to watch it all the time.
Just to explain that again, when a ball is kicked off and goes out on the full, you have three options. You can receive the ball, you can call for a scrum back at halfway, or you can have a line out on the halfway mark. The All Blacks ran forward, took a quick line out, and they scored a try. I've never seen that happen before.
They must use the same ball, of course, which they did.
Fox keeps kicking the goals. 60 points are raised on the scoreboard by the All Blacks.
So now the Italian side are completely demoralised. Those two tries back to back, two as quickly as that. What are they going to do now? The All Blacks are in the driving seat. They've got all the horses in front of them.
60 points to 6. Ambrosio kicks off. Look at this, like a great black blanket. Kirk. Shelford, oh, lovely pass, but just forward, and the crowd would love to have seen this man. Shelford set up a try for Jones. So Lorigiola, who played such a big part in the opening moments of the match, but has been shut right out. Look at that power of that New Zealand team. They've turned the scrum around, and now they're driving away. There's halfway. Scanning the record books again, New Zealand once beat Uruguay by 64. So they might pass that one on the way too. That wasn't an official international, of course, a game against a national team. 5 minutes to play. Gallagher in. Green. Gallagher. And now Stanley takes New Zealand up to 64. Again, run in from a long, long way out along the back line. Fox to Taylor. You see Fox coming in assistance. Gallagher in and pushing through the gaps, which are a mile wide late in the game. Green had the ball on the left wing, and his in-pass eventually finds Joe Stanley staying in support from Gallagher. And away goes Joe Stanley and scores.
That's him, big Joe Stanley from the Ponsonby Club in Auckland. But you can see the try was made by the backing up of the All Black backs. And you watch this, the way the ball is spun from Taylor. He ran up to the man and gave the ball out on the skip move to Gallagher. Now just watch John Gallagher, the way he keeps in support of Craig Green, and the quick hands again, giving it to Joe Stanley. That was John Gallagher's try, but Joe Stanley scored it.
Joe Stanley's first try in a test match. The All Blacks have scored 11 tries today. Fox has kicked 20 points. So that one has not gone over. 64 points to 6. Well, those that came to Eden Park will be delighted, I'm sure.
There's sort of hush, isn't there, over the ground, Keith, as if some of the people can't believe it, or something like that.
I think it's there's a bit of a buzz of discussion now. How good is this All Black performance today? They've been absolutely awesome. How good is this opposition? Okay, it's not the greatest, but the New Zealand team have certainly looked awesome in the way they've ploughed through the centre in the second half. 8 tries in the second half, and they're playing the game at such speed that the Italians can only be bewildered at it. Out along the backs again. Fox, Taylor left out, Stanley, Gallagher up, Green. Shelford, great support for Shelford. Green again, lost forward, Gitsoni. By our reckoning, about 3 minutes to play, but the referee, of course, shall be the sole judge of fact. Yes, there's going to be a penalty there, I think, unless something happens here. Oh dear, Gitsoni having another bad one that time. It's a penalty to Italy for offside play by New Zealand team. Oh, you can't see by the sun. You can see that. That's fair enough. You look at those long shadows. The ball coming out. Now they're out in the backs. Out to Marcello Cutita. Oh dear. Well, it's all going wrong for the Italians now. This All Black team has completely blown the doors off the Italians this afternoon. That's 64 points to 6. And there could be more yet with the flow, the steady flow of possession for the New Zealand team. Look at that, uncontested. So many takes by Alan Witten. And here is trouble. Number 6 is penalised. Gianni Farina. Tack. Fox. Taylor. Sherwood. Pierce. And Franco Boon-Me touches down.
And Michael James was so close to getting that second try, Keith.
64 to 6.
So All Black ball.
All Black ball. Will they try the left though again? It's going left. Loriciola was more ready that time. Referee Fordham having a big look. It's right near the line. Ball in for New Zealand. Very close to the end of the game. You can see the feet of the kids on the sideline about to pounce with their autograph books. Green is away to the left. So will there be one last try by the New Zealand team? They've scored 11, starting with the penalty try. Fox. Green. And the try is scored, and it's appropriate that Alan Witten should get it because he's had a good game. 68 to 6. And underneath, up comes Alan Witten. And he has scored try number 12 for New Zealand. You know, I thought Craig Green was going to do the decent thing and score that third try for me after all, Graham Thorne, but he didn't quite get there. But really, it was very appropriate that Alan Witten should be on hand right in the last minute to score try number 12.
The loose forwards have been magnificent in the second half. What's a long pass again, out to stand inside there to Craig Green. He's so strong, going through and inside Alan Witten, who's been sniffing the ball all day, and over he goes.
So the game is over. The game is over. Alan Witten had the last say. The conversion went over for a final score of 70 points to 6 for New Zealand. And Alan Witten, one of the big contributors there for the New Zealand team. So too the rest of the forward pack.
Yes, it was a tremendous effort in the second half by the All Blacks. They started very slowly. In fact, it was quite a shaky start, wasn't it, Keith? But then, as they gained in confidence, they started to gel. Their game started to gel. And then, of course, the floodgates opened when Gitsoni that tragic knock-on over the goal line. The try was scored from there, the 6-point try, which really got their tails down. And from then on, the All Blacks started to play like we know they can. And on Eden Park, which of course is their favourite ground, they just didn't give Italy a look in.
Well, it began with a penalty try. There's Wayne Shelford, who did so well. It began with a penalty try after 13 minutes. Here come the All Blacks off with their souvenir jerseys. Pretty brave beginning. The two flankers, forwards, Gardine, shaking hands with his opposite. There's Oscar Collodi, Wayne Shelford. In comes the hooker, Giorgio Morelli. Disappointed the Italians. Craig Green, I wish he would have got 3 tries. That would have been nice for a commentator who can't add up all the time. Innocenti is the captain there, and off come the New Zealand team. They scored the biggest win today they've ever scored in an international. Previously, they had 42-15 against England in 1985, and then they had the United States one in 1913, which was 51-3, but today they had 70 points to 6 against Italy. And Innocenti, the captain from Petrarca, will be, I'm sure, a devastated and disappointed man. That's a huge score for the Italians to consider as they face their next match.
Yeah, 70 points to 6 is what Fred Allen would call a good old-fashioned hiding. And really, Italy didn't have a look in from about the first quarter of an hour. But I was very impressed with the way they got the ball in the first quarter of an hour. I only wish they'd spun the ball a bit more, Keith, instead of kicking it up in the air. As if they'd said, OK, these are the tactics. No matter what happens, we'll play them. If only they'd spun the ball in.
Very disappointed Italians. Totally dejected. But standing, waiting to shake the hands of those players who are yet to come off. This was the biggest day in Italian rugby history, to play in the World Cup, to play the opener in the World Cup. And I guess they'll be devastated at how it went. But really, they were pretty brave in their opening endeavours, and had things been just a little different, they might have put more on the early stages of the match. But they would never have matched the All Blacks. I think you'll agree that this All Black team was as good as their score, a genuine score of 70-6. And my word, what a wonderful try by John Kirwan will have to hold as a memory from this opening Rugby World Cup match. He sprinted 80 metres to get the try, and there are the two captains, Kirk and Innocenti. And I think Marzio Innocenti might not be able to give us too much in the interview situation that's coming up.
Okay, with me now the two successful captains, or one successful captain, David Kirk. First to our Italian friend Marzio Innocenti. Disappointed, I suppose, Marzio?
Yes, it's very hard today. They have always the ball in the second half. It's impossible for us, mixing nothing.
You really started off very well. The first 10 minutes for you were extremely good part of the game.
Yes, but the All Blacks are too powerful for us now. I hope in the future something too better.
Maybe Argentina a bit more to your liking.
No, I think only to the match of today.
Of course. Okay. Well, congratulations. Thanks for being part of this opening match in the World Cup. And I'll speak to successful captain David Kirk. David, well done. Tremendous effort and a little bit of a slow start there, but once the floodgates open.
Yeah, a slow start, I agree, Philip. Yeah, we played okay. We played pretty well. We were a little bit less efficient than we'd like to be, but we scored some great tries. I'm pleased about that.
We were picking out the individual performances of Michael Jones and Alan Wetton early on in the game, but then when everyone started getting into the act, it was a bit difficult to pick a feature player.
Well, I agree. It's a team game, and I thought the whole team played well. We're practicing and aiming to play a team type of game, and that's what we did today, I thought.
There has been comments made that the All Blacks are always a bit slow in the first test of a series, but there wouldn't be any problems there, I would imagine.
No, we did all right today. As you say, we started a bit slowly and perhaps a little bit nervous, I think, our first test match of the season, but we finished pretty well.
David Kirk, thank you very much. We'll look forward to talking to you later.
Thank you.
So there it is. There was a lot in the match today to savour. A slow start by the New Zealand team, but then they finally got the point production working, and look at that. 12 tries, 8 conversions, 2 penalties, to a penalty and a drop goal. 70 points to 6. The tries were scored by the wingers, 2 each, and Fox kicked so brilliantly in the end, landing from the sideline that New Zealand will now be a strong contender on that form to really shake the opposition around in their group and in the matches which will follow undoubtedly for the New Zealand team. An emphatic beginning by the New Zealanders in rugby's first ever World Cup match at Eden Park on an afternoon which will hold as a special one in New Zealand's rugby history. They beat Italy in the opening game by 70-6.